If you search for drum fill lessons here on YouTube, you're gonna find thousands upon thousands of videos. You'll find lessons for everything from beginner fills to more complicated ones. And while it's great to have all this information at our fingertips, it also leaves a lot of drummers frustrated because they don't know exactly where to start. And I haven't seen anyone put everything into context and to show both the fundamentals and how to take those fundamentals and create those next level fills. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do today. I want to share with you guys the most practical and straightforward way to play your fills that'll give you a foundation to draw from for the rest of your drumming journey. And once you have this foundation laid down, you'll be able to play the vast majority of fills that are out there, from the basic ones to the more advanced ones. And this isn't some new concept that I've come up with. I'm just going to share with you guys the tried and true way that the masters play most of their fills. So seriously, stick around. This could save you years of frustration. All right, let's unpack this. The framework for every fill we're going to learn today is simple alternating strokes. Just right, left, right, left. And if you take those 4 strokes and put them into a fill, it'll sound like this. Now, within this grid of 4 notes, you can create a variety of different patterns simply by taking different notes out. For instance, if you take the first left out, you get this. If you take the second left out, you get this. And if you take the second right out, you get this. Now here's the key thing to bear in mind. No matter what pattern you play, the placement of the right and left hand should never shift. The right is always on the downbeats and upbeats, and the left is always on the E's and the Uhs. And no matter how complicated the fills we check out today become, this rule will always apply. And there are 2 main reasons for this rule. One, because it removes all that guesswork that's usually associated with learning new fills and gives you a structure to work within. And 2, by practicing all these different patterns using the same approach, you're gonna develop really solid muscle memory that'll result in smooth and consistent motions when you play your fills. All right, now that we got the framework down, let me show you how much mileage you can get out of this approach. I'm gonna share with you a bunch of different examples that'll get your creative juices flowing. And by the way, if these examples start to go by a little bit too quickly for you, no worries at all. I'll have transcriptions and practice loops of well over 100 of these fill examples linked in the description box below. And you can use those practice loops to slow down and speed up the fills and work at your own pace at home. So now let's take those patterns that we've already set up and just take them a step further by doubling them up, making them into 2-beat fills. Okay, these are all classic fills that you hear all over the place, but granted, they're not all that exciting yet. To bring them up a notch, you need to start combining the different patterns together. Now to bring them up another notch, we can start orchestrating those combinations around the drums. Now let's see what happens when we double that fill length yet again to an even longer 4 beats. You're gonna hear that with more room to work with, we can come up with some funkier phrases. Huh? Now we're starting to get somewhere. Let's keep it going. A great way to make these patterns even groovier is to get creative with where you start them. For example, one of my favorite places to start fills is on beat 2 because you can maintain that backbeat on the snare that falls on beat 2 and play a fill at the same time. It sounds really slick. Check it out. To get even tastier, you can put your fills on the and of a beat. You just gotta make sure that you're making those transitions from the groove to those fills nice and smooth. Check it out, these start on the and of 2. And finally, let's start a few on the and of 1, giving us even more room to work with. As you can hear, these fills are starting to sound really musical, and they're starting to sound more complicated than they actually are. And this is only the beginning. Once you get these basic patterns down, you can start to add in all these different embellishments to spice them up even more. For instance, you can put the bass drum in the cracks to create some really powerful linear fills. So you can take a fill like this, and you can turn it into this. You can also add rolls into the fills, taking something that sounds like this, turning it into this. And you can even add multiple embellishments into a fill, taking something that sounds pretty basic like this, turning it into this. And the beauty of all this is, no matter what you throw in, the foundation underneath always remains the same. And that's what I meant when I said that you can use this approach as a foundation that'll last you a lifetime. I really mean that. And of course, there are many other fills and chops out there that use more complicated stickings, and those are great to incorporate into your vocabulary. But I found over the years that I only use those more complicated stickings a fraction of the time. The vast majority of the fills that I and my favorite drummers play are in this more straightforward style. And that's largely because simpler stickings are far easier to improvise and phrase with. So you can actually be more expressive with them. Alright, that's gonna do it for this one, everybody. I really hope that you enjoyed it. As I mentioned earlier, I'll have transcriptions and practice loops of well over 100 of these fill examples linked in the description box. Thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. You take it easy. Bye-bye.